We continue with our series of selections from the HaChaim on Parshas HaShavua, and it's all Lech Shlema for Ariel, Rina, Bas, Esther, Betושח, Chol Yisrael, Refuah Shlema, Tekef, Umiyad. So the pasuk opens up, V'em Hashem Avram Lecha me'artzecha me'adcha beis avicha ela aretz asher areka. So Hashem tells Avram, go from your country, the place you were born, and grew up, and even from your father's house, to the land I will show you. So HaChaim asks a bomb kasha. The order is totally backwards. If you're leaving the whole country, you left Artzecha, then you already left Moladcha and Beis Avicha. The pasuk makes no sense, because once you've left the country, of course you've left the other two already, because you left the whole country altogether. The only way to make sense out of the pasuk geographically is to say it in the exact reverse. Mi beis avicha, from your father's house, right? Mi moladcha, from where you were born and grew up, place you were raised, and then even further to leave the whole country altogether. Then the pasuk would make sense, but it's in the totally opposite order. Right? So that's his kasha, and he has three terutzim to this, three mahalachim, and we'll deal with 2 out of 3 today. Okay, so his first mahalach to explain this is that we're not talking geographically, in the geographical order, because of course, if you leave Artzecha, then of course you've already left Moladcha and Beis Avicha. We are talking about emotionally, meaning to say like this, like Rashi brings, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to increase Avram Avinu's merit in this tzivui. That's why I didn't tell him where he's going, to give him schar al kol dibor v'dibor, to make the nisayon harder. Right? So in that spirit, right, HaKadosh Baruch Hu also wants to make the nisayon harder, to give him more schar by making it emotionally harder. So of course the tzivui was Lecha me'artzecha, but then Hashem drills home to make it hurt, right? And when you're leaving your country, you're also leaving, the place that you grew up. And when you're leaving your country, you're also leaving your father's household. So it's like to drill down and make it, more emotionally stressful, to give him more schar. So the tzivui geographically was Lecha me'artzecha. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu was adding, and when you're going to leave Artzecha, that entails leaving Moladtecha, and even Beis Avicha, you're going to have to leave all that behind. So the second half of the pasuk is all to drill down more, to make it harder emotionally of what leaving Artzecha entails, and thus to increase Avraham Avinu's merit that he's going through with it anyway. That's the HaChaim's first shot. But then he says something else. And he says, you have to understand this in context of how last week's parsha, Parshas Lech, ends off that Avram left Haran together with Terach, and really a lot of stuff, a lot of people and a lot of stuff from his previous life in Ur Kasdim. So with all that, with his father and probably a lot of other leftovers, from his old life, he went with all of that from Ur Kasdim to Haran, and that's where Terach died. HaKadosh Baruch Hu was telling him, the way you're going to leave now from Haran to Eretz Yisrael is not going to be the same way the way you left from Ur Kasdim. Because with Ur Kasdim, you took with you family members, and you probably took with you a lot of things that belong to your previous life. I want you to sever all ties with your previous life. At this time, as you progress from Haran to Eretz Yisrael, so you are not just leaving the country, you have to sever ties from Moladtecha, right, from the way you grew up, where you were born and raised, and Mi Beis Avicha, no connection. You got to go clean break, because the way you went from Ur Kasdim to Haran was not a clean break. You held on to your past, including the people from your past. Now you're going, with severing all ties from Molatecha and Beis Avicha. Right? So as opposed to the way you left from Ur Kasdim, he took Terach with you and probably a lot of other leftovers. Right? And I want you to sever ties totally with your past. So leaving Me'artzecha should involve a total severance from Molatecha Beis Avicha. So he says, Lefi, this pshat that I'm saying now, says the HaChaim, comes out that he was not allowed to take Lot with him. Right? Total severance. And Lot is, from his nephew from his past life. He's got to leave him behind. So he first says that he is open to the idea that maybe Avram Avinu misunderstood and what he was really supposed to do, and he took Lot in error. But then he says, you don't have to come on to that. Look in the psukim very, very carefully. So Avram Avinu is beginning the journey. So it says, Vayelech Avram kasher diber elav Hashem. Avram went as Hashem spoke him. Vayelech ito Lot. Lot followed him. Right? Lot followed him. He did not intend to take Lot. Vayelech ito Lot. Right? It says in the very next pasuk, Vayikach Avram esarshto v'eslot benachim, and Avram took Sarai his wife and Lot his son. Mashma that Avram did it, out of his own volition voluntarily. He said no. If that would be the case, he told Lot in the middle. It says first Avram was going and obeying the command to leave, right? And Vayelech told Lot, right? So so the continuity of the psukim suggests Avram was going to leave all by his lonesome. Lot just stuck to him like a tick and just wouldn't go. Then what it means Vayikach Avram took him together with Sarah means this time with a plan. Avram had a plan to ditch him as soon as he could get a chance. So he took him, but he took him, with, and not as that, as in, he's not going to let Lot have his way and just stick with him and stick with him and stick with him. He took him, in with a plan of how to ditch him. So the continuity of the psukim are very good. Avram intended to go by himself. Then Vayelech told Lot. Lot just stuck to him. Now Avram says he can't shake him. Then he takes him, but he takes him in a way with a plan. He's going to get rid of him as soon as he can. And indeed, the HaChaim follows through with this. So after Avram Avinu leaves Mitzrayim with Rechush Gadol, Lot was also rich, and and there's a fight between Avram Avinu and his shepherds and Lot's shepherds, and part of it is not just a fight over money. There also was a moral dispute about Lot was letting his flock graze in a manner which was gezel, stealing from other people's fields, and shepherd said, "Hey, that's not right. That's not who we are." Okay, so what does Avram do? So you would think give Lot Musar, right, and say, "Listen, we got to work this out, and you also got to make sure to only take your animals to a place that's hefker. Give him Musar, set him straight." That's not what Avram Avinu does. He immediately says, we got a problem. He prayed no more like, we got a problem, leave. So he jumps straight to telling him to leave, right? Not giving him Musar to set him straight. Not coming to some type of arrangement that there should be no other reasons to quarrel. Go. Because this was the opportunity to finally get rid of Lot. And sure enough, that Lot was baggage for Avram Avinu, not just a pain in the neck, but a spiritual baggage. So what happens is immediately after Lot leaves, Vashem Omar El Avram Acharei Pared Lot Be'imo. So as Rashi says, Hashem didn't give this level of nevuah to Avram Avinu, of a yichud adibur until Lot left. So Hashem was also waiting and was holding back certain levels of nevuah, perhaps all nevuah. Certainly, levels of nevuah, the yichud adibur, right, until Lot left. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu also is holding back. Lot is baggage. Lot is stopping Avram Avinu's not just pain in the neck to him, but also stunting his spiritual growth. Immediately after he pared Lot me'imo, right? He has yichud adibur, right? That there's a special intimacy in the nevuah given to Avraham Avinu now that he got rid of Lot. Okay, so now HaChaim says, look at what it says. How does the immediate message of this, high level restored nevuah, the higher level nevuah that he gets now that he finally got rid of Lot? What does it say? Take a look in all directions, right? And all that land that you see, I'm going to give you. Says HaChaim, wait a minute. Avraham was promised that already. Lecha me'artzcha miladcha basically ela aretz asher areka, to land I will show you. So it's mashma over here. Avraham is being shown the land for the first time. Take a look all around you and see the land, and all that you see, I'm giving to you and your children. It says HaChaim, it's nifla ma'od, right? Avraham didn't get the fulfillment of ela aretz asher areka that he was promised in Lecha because he wasn't in full compliance of Lecha, because the command of Lecha was to sever ties. Leave in a manner that you sever ties with everything you grew up with, and even from everybody from your father's household, which includes Lot. So because he had Lot with you, he was not in full compliance of the tzivui of Lecha. And since he wasn't in full compliance of the tzivui, he didn't get to ela aretz asher areka. He finally gets rid of Lot. Now he's in full compliance. So aside from the yichud adibur, because Lot was holding him back spiritually, or klach l'derech zu, that Hashem was withholding that level of prophecy as collateral, make sure he gets rid of Lot. Both sides are true, both aspects. Now he's in full compliance of Lech Lecha, so now it's so'inech re'eh. Now come see the land. Now he gets the ela aretz asher areka once he's in full compliance of Lech Lecha after he gets rid of Lot. So for our next installment, we will deal just with the first third of the HaChaim's third pshat, because that first third of his third pshat is a very dense, even though he says in just 3 lines, right? But it's a very dense philosophical idea about darkei hashgacha, chiyuv hayishtadlus, and how ishtadlus works. It's a very big hashkafic point that's going to take a whole session to explain this. All right, so please stay tuned for our next installment, where we're going to tackle the first third of the third pshat, a very, very fundamental piece about darkei hashgacha and darkei chiyuv hayishtadlus, a big yesod in hashkafa. Stay tuned, and this is all Lirfuas, Ariela, Rína, Bas, Esther, Betושח, Chol Yisrael, Tekef Umiyad, Refuah Shlem, Refuah Saguf, Tekef Umiyad.